Welcome to today's deep dive, where we're going to be exploring something that affects millions around the world. Sugar's impact on diabetes.
Yeah.
We've got a ton of research and expert opinions.
Right.
So by the end of this, you'll know just how significant that impact really is.
Absolutely. It's not just about managing symptoms. It's about understanding the risks and how to potentially mitigate them.
Because some people might think, oh, it's just sugar. How bad can it be?
Right.
But there's a reason why doctors are always talking about cutting back.
Yeah.
Especially for those with diabetes or at risk of developing it.
Exactly. Let's imagine for a second your body as a car.
Okay.
And sugar or glucose is the fuel.
Oh.
Insulin is like the key that unlocks the car doors, allowing that fuel to enter and power the engine.
Okay.
But with diabetes, the system malfunctions.
So if the key doesn't work at all, that's type 1 diabetes.
Right.
But if the doors get jammed because the lock is rusty from being overused, that's like type 2. And what's surprising is that regularly enjoying sugary drinks actually increases the risk of developing type 2 diabetes by significant 26%.
Wow.
And that's a pretty big jump, right?
Yeah, it is. And it highlights how crucial it is to be mindful of our sugar intake.
Right.
And it's not just the obvious sources like candy or cake.
Yeah.
What's really concerning is the amount of hidden sugar lurking in processed foods.
Like a stealthy villain quietly wreaking havoc on our blood sugar levels.
Yeah.
These hidden sugars are quickly converted to glucose in the body.
Right.
Leading to those dreaded spikes that can be so detrimental for people with diabetes.
Think about those seemingly healthy options like flavored yogurts or granola bars.
Yeah.
They're often packed with sugar.
Oh, wow.
That's why checking the nutrition label is so important.
Right.
If sugar is listed near the top of the ingredients, it's a red flag.
Okay, that makes sense. But how much sugar are we really talking about here?
Well, some popular sugary beverages contain upwards of 40 grams of sugar per serving. To put that into perspective, the American Heart Association recommends no more than 36 grams of added sugar per day for men.
Okay.
And 25 grams for women.
So just one drink could put you over the recommended limit.
Yeah.
No wonder there's such a strong link between sugar and diabetes risk.
Right.
But I think it's also really important to remember that there are things we can do to manage this. And exercise seems to be a powerful tool.
It's true. Exercise isn't just about physical fitness.
Right.
It plays a crucial role in diabetes management.
Okay.
Think of it this way. When we consume a lot of sugar, our body releases a surge of insulin to try and deal with it.
Okay.
Over time, our cells can become resistant to insulin, kind of like a doorbell that's been rung too many times.
Yeah.
Eventually, the person inside stops responding.
So the signal gets lost and our blood sugar levels start to rise.
Exactly.
But exercise can actually help to resensitize those cells, right?
Precisely. It's like hitting the reset button on your body's insulin response. Regular physical activity can help improve insulin sensitivity, meaning your cells become more responsive to insulin and your body needs less of it to do its job.
That's encouraging.
Yeah.
It means we have some agency in managing this condition. But what's fascinating is the idea that type 2 diabetes could potentially be reversed.
Yeah.
I've heard mixed things about this. What does the research actually say?
That's a great question, and it's one that researchers are still actively exploring.
Okay.
While reversal isn't always guaranteed, a growing body of research suggests that type 2 diabetes can go into remission through lifestyle changes, particularly weight loss.
So it's not just about managing symptoms. It's about potentially addressing the root cause.
Exactly. Studies have shown that losing even a moderate amount of weight, around 5% to 7% of your body weight, can significantly improve insulin sensitivity and blood sugar control.
That's a game changer.
It is.
It shows that we have more control over our health than we might realize.
Yeah.
It's empowering to know that lifestyle modifications can have such a profound impact.
Absolutely. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about specific foods that can either help or hinder diabetes management.
Yeah, because what we eat plays a huge role in how our body handles sugar.
It does.
Let's start with the good guys.
Okay.
The foods that can help keep our blood sugar in check.
At the top of the list are whole foods. These are unprocessed, nutrient-packed foods like fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains.
So it's about choosing foods in their most natural state.
Right.
Without all the added sugars and preservatives.
You got it. And these foods are packed with fiber, which is like a secret weapon in the fight against blood sugar spikes.
Okay.
Fiber slows down the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream, preventing those rapid surges that can be so problematic for people with diabetes.
It's like fiber acts as a buffer, smoothing out the process. That's really helpful to visualize.
Yeah.
But what about the foods we should try to avoid or limit?
Well, the usual suspects are processed foods and sugary drinks.
Right.
We've already talked about their sugar content, but they also tend to be low in fiber and nutrients, and often high in unhealthy fats.
Okay.
This combination can contribute to weight gain, increased cholesterol levels, and of course, those blood sugar roller coaster rides we want to avoid.
They're like the triple threat to our health.
That's a great way to put it. And here's another tip.
Okay.
Don't fall into the trap of thinking that sugar-free automatically equals healthy.
Right.
Many products marketed as sugar-free are loaded with artificial sweeteners.
Right, because they can have their own set of potential downsides. So it's not just about avoiding sugar.
Right.
It's about choosing natural, wholesome ingredients whenever possible.
Exactly.
But reading those food labels can be tricky.
Yeah.
Especially with all the different names for sugar.
You're absolutely right. Sugar is a master of disguise.
Yeah.
It hides behind all sorts of aliases on ingredient lists. So you have to become a detective.
Okay.
Don't just look for the word sugar.
Right.
Be on the lookout for terms like high fructose corn syrup, dextrose maltose sucrose, and agave nectar. They're all just different forms of sugar.
It's like sugar is playing a game of hide and seek with us.
It really is. And remember, ingredients are listed in order of quantity.
Okay.
So if sugar, or one of its many pseudonyms, is near the top of the list, that's a red flag.
Right.
Another sneaky tactic is serving sizes.
Oh, yeah.
That seemingly small bag of chips might actually contain multiple servings.
Right.
So you could be consuming way more sugar than you realize.
So it's all about being mindful and paying attention to the details. But even with all this information, it can still feel overwhelming to make healthy choices.
Yeah.
Especially if you're used to a certain way of eating.
You're right. It's a process.
Yeah.
And it takes time to adjust. But even small changes can make a big difference.
Okay.
A 2022 study published in Diabetes Care found that reducing your daily soda intake by just 1 can could improve your insulin sensitivity by 13%.
Wow, that's impressive. So it's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's about making conscious choices that move you in the right direction.
Exactly. And another important finding from a study in the Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology emphasized that the quality of your diet matters more than the quantity.
So it's not just about counting calories. It's about making those calories count. Choosing foods that nourish your body.
Right.
And help you manage your blood sugar levels. And that's where understanding the glycemic index, or GI, can be helpful, right?
You're right. The GI can be a valuable tool for making informed food choices. It basically ranks carbohydrates based on how quickly they raise your blood sugar level.
Okay.
Foods with a high GI cause a rapid spike in blood sugar, while foods with a low GI cause a slower, more gradual rise. For those managing diabetes, choosing low GI foods can make a real difference in keeping those blood sugar levels stable.
Okay. I think we've covered a lot of ground here, setting the stage for our understanding of sugar's impact on diabetes. We've explored the risks, the importance of exercise, and the role of food choices. We're not done yet. In part 2, we'll dive deeper into some specific strategies for reducing your sugar intake. And explore those delicious and healthy recipes that can help you manage your blood sugar without feeling deprived. Stay tuned.
Sounds good. Welcome back to our deep dive on sugar's impact on diabetes.
Before we jumped into the break, we were getting into the nitty-gritty of making healthier food choices.
Yeah.
Now let's talk strategy. How can we actually reduce our sugar intake in a practical, sustainable way?
That's a great question, because it's one thing to know what we should be doing.
Right.
But it's another thing entirely to put it into action.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, let's say you've got a serious sweet tooth.
Yeah.
How do you satisfy those cravings without sending your blood sugar levels through the roof?
Well, one strategy is to tap into the natural sweetness of fruit. Fruit can be a fantastic alternative to processed sugary snacks. It's naturally sweet, packed with fiber, and loaded with essential vitamins and minerals.
It's like nature's candy, but without the guilt trip.
Exactly.
But I know sometimes you're just craving something a little more decadent. What then?
There are actually tons of delicious and healthy recipes out there that can satisfy your sweet tooth without all the added sugar. For instance, instead of reaching for a store-bought muffin, why not whip up a batch of homemade ones? Using whole wheat flour oats and natural sweeteners like mashed banana or unsweetened applesauce.
That's a great idea. You get to control the ingredients and avoid all those hidden sugars.
Exactly.
Speaking of hidden sugars, how can we become more savvy label readers?
Yeah.
It can feel like a minefield out there.
It's true. The food industry has become incredibly adept at disguising sugar.
Right.
But we can arm ourselves with knowledge.
Yeah.
Remember, sugar has many aliases. So don't just look for the word sugar on the ingredient list.
Right.
Keep an eye out for terms like high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, maltose sucrose,
Okay.
and even agave nectar.
Oh, wow.
They're all just different forms of sugar.
It's almost like sugar is trying to outsmart us.
It is.
But we're on to its tricks.
Exactly. And remember what we discussed before the break.
Yeah.
Ingredients are listed in order of quantity.
Right.
So if sugar or one of its sneaky aliases is near the top of the list, that's a major red flag.
Okay.
Another thing to watch out for is serving sizes.
Right.
That seemingly innocent bag of chips might actually contain multiple servings.
Right.
So you could be consuming way more sugar than you think.
Wow, those are some valuable tips. I think being a mindful label reader is like having a superpower in the grocery store.
I love that.
It gives you the ability to make informed choices and avoid those hidden sugar bombs.
Now let's talk about drinks.
Okay.
We mentioned earlier that sugary beverages are a major source of added sugar in our diets. So what are some healthier alternatives we can reach for when we're thirsty?
Well, water is always the best choice.
Absolutely.
It's calorie-free, sugar-free,
Right.
and absolutely essential for hydration.
Right.
But let's be real. Sometimes we crave something with a little more flavor.
I agree. And thankfully, there are plenty of flavorful options that won't sabotage our blood sugar goals.
Yeah.
Unsweetened tea, sparkling water, or even homemade infused water
Okay.
with slices of fruit or herbs are all fantastic choices.
I love infused water. It's such a simple way to add a touch of excitement to plain water. And you can get really creative with the flavor combinations.
Absolutely. And if you're used to drinking soda or juice regularly, try gradually reducing the amount you consume.
Yeah.
And replacing it with these healthier alternatives.
Okay.
Your taste buds will adjust over time and your body will thank you for it.
It's all about retraining your palate to appreciate those more subtle, natural flavors. But, you know, even when we're being mindful of our food and drink choices, it's important to remember that exercise plays a crucial role in managing diabetes as well.
You're absolutely right. Exercise isn't just about weight management.
Okay.
It's about improving how our body uses and processes sugar.
Okay, so let's break down the different types of exercise and how they can specifically benefit people with diabetes.
Great idea. Let's start with aerobic exercise.
Okay.
Think brisk walking, jogging, swimming, or cycling. These activities are fantastic for improving cardiovascular health and helping your body utilize glucose more efficiently.
Okay.
Aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic exercise most days of the week.
So it's like giving your heart and your metabolism a boost all at once. But what about strength training? I know it's important for building muscle.
Right.
But how does it factor into diabetes management?
Strength training is incredibly important even for those with diabetes.
Oh.
Why? Because muscle tissue is actually more efficient at using glucose than fat tissue.
Okay.
So the more muscle mass you have, the better your body can regulate blood sugar levels.
Okay, so hitting the weights can actually help improve your body's ability to handle sugar.
Exactly.
That's a good motivator right there.
It is.
But how often should we do strength training? And do we have to lift super heavy weights to see benefits?
Great questions. Aim for at least 2 sessions of strength training per week, working all the major muscle groups.
Okay.
And you don't have to lift heavy weights to see benefits.
Okay.
Body weight exercises, resistance bands, or even just carrying groceries can all contribute to building strength.
That's good to know. It makes strength training feel a lot more accessible.
It does.
What about flexibility and balance exercises like yoga or Tai Chi? They might not seem as intense as cardio or weightlifting.
Right.
But I've heard they can be beneficial as well.
You're right. Flexibility and balance exercises are often overlooked, but they can be incredibly valuable for those with diabetes.
Okay.
They can help reduce stress, improve circulation, and enhance overall well-being, which are all important factors in diabetes management. It's about creating a more balanced, holistic approach to health.
I love that. It's not just about one specific type of exercise.
All right.
It's about finding activities you enjoy and that fit into your lifestyle.
Exactly. And remember, even small amounts of activity can make a difference.
Yeah.
Take the stairs instead of the elevator walk, or bike instead of driving whenever possible. Those little choices add up over time and contribute to a more active lifestyle.
It's all about making movement a part of your daily routine.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that starting a new exercise routine can feel daunting.
Yeah.
Especially if you haven't been very active in the past.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to someone who's feeling overwhelmed or unsure where to begin?
First and foremost, be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
It's a journey, not a race.
Mm-hmm.
Start slowly and gradually increase the intensity and duration of your workouts.
Okay.
And most importantly, find something you genuinely enjoy.
Right.
If you hate running, don't force yourself to do it.
Yeah.
There are so many other ways to get moving.
Right.
Dancing, gardening, hiking. Yeah.
Anything that gets your heart rate up and your muscles working is a win.
So true. Exercise shouldn't feel like a chore.
Exactly.
It should be something you look forward to. And remember, it's always a good idea to check with your doctor
Absolutely.
before starting any new exercise program, especially if you have any underlying health conditions.
Safety first.
Yeah.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to revisit a topic we touched on earlier.
Yeah.
The idea that type 2 diabetes can potentially be reversed.
That's a topic that's both intriguing and hopeful.
It is.
What more can you tell us about the possibility of reversing type 2 diabetes?
Well, as I mentioned before, while reversal isn't always guaranteed, significant research suggests that type 2 diabetes can go into remission through lifestyle changes.
Right.
Particularly weight loss.
Okay.
Studies have shown that losing even a moderate amount of weight, around 5% to 7% of your body weight, can significantly improve insulin sensitivity and blood sugar control. So it's not just about managing the symptoms, it's about potentially addressing the root cause of the condition.
Precisely. And it's not just about weight loss in isolation.
Right.
It's about adopting a holistic approach to diabetes management.
Okay.
Focusing on healthy eating, regular exercise, stress management, and getting enough sleep. It's about creating a lifestyle that supports your overall well-being.
I love that. It's about empowering yourself to take control of your health and make choices that support your body's ability to thrive.
Exactly.
We've covered so much ground in this part of our deep dive.
We have.
From practical strategies for reducing sugar intake to exploring the incredible benefits of exercise and the potential for reversing type 2 diabetes.
Right.
I'm feeling incredibly inspired and hopeful.
Me too.
But our exploration isn't over yet. In part 3, we'll delve into the emotional side of diabetes management and explore the importance of building a supportive network. Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive into sugar's impact on diabetes. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been exploring the relationship between sugar and diabetes, and I'm feeling a lot more aware of the choices I can make to support my health.
It's amazing how even small changes can impact our well-being.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But with all this talk about food and exercise, I think we should talk about the emotional side of diabetes management.
Oh, yeah.
It's not always easy to make these changes, and it's okay to feel overwhelmed or frustrated sometimes.
You're so right. It's important to acknowledge that managing diabetes can be tough, and it's not about being perfect. It's about finding sustainable changes that work for the long term.
And that's where having a support network can be so helpful.
Yes.
Whether it's family, friends, a support group, having people to talk to and share experiences with can be so helpful.
I totally agree. Sharing your journey with others who understand what you're going through can really help you feel supported, encouraged, and like you're not alone.
And don't forget professional guidance.
Oh, that's so important.
Registered dietitians and certified diabetes educators can give you personalized advice and support.
Yes.
To create a meal plan that fits your needs.
Right.
It's like having an expert guide by your side, helping you through those food labels.
Exactly.
Coming up with healthy recipes.
Yeah.
And making the whole process less overwhelming.
And remember, managing diabetes is a team effort.
Right.
Your healthcare provider is your biggest ally. They can monitor your blood sugar levels, adjust medications, and address any concerns you have along the way.
It's all about being open and honest and working together to figure out what works for you. And I think it's important to remember there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
I agree. What works for one person might not work for another. That's why it's crucial to pay attention to your body.
Yeah.
Try different strategies and find what feels most sustainable.
And effective for you.
Exactly.
It's a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs, good days and bad days.
Right.
But with the right knowledge support and a little self-compassion, you can manage diabetes and thrive.
I love that. It's about empowering yourself to take control of your health.
Yeah.
And make choices that help your body be its best.
We've talked about so much in this deep dive.
We have.
The risks of sugar and diabetes, tips for managing your sugar intake. adding exercise to your routine, and making sure you're taking care of your well-being.
Absolutely.
I hope you found this deep dive helpful and encouraging.
Me too.
The more you know about diabetes, the more you'll be ready to make informed decisions that are good for you.
Exactly. And remember, you're not alone. There's a whole world of support out there.
Absolutely.
From healthcare professionals to support groups to online communities, reach out, connect with others, and never stop learning.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into sugar and diabetes.
Thanks for having me.
We hope you feel inspired to take charge of your health. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep thriving.